Hey there, Tilray traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Today is Monday. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. It's May 5th. And in this video, we're going to have an exciting update. BlackRock increased their Tilray ownership by 7.71%. I've been covering for a while now. I've already done a video saying that we know that institutions were loading up. We had Vanguard, we had Morgan Stanley. And this is just a trend that will continue. And I will say that it was just a small amount. Like this is just pocket change. It's basically like a tip when BlackRock goes to a restaurant, is how much that they're putting into the stock compared to what they have for assets under management. But we'll discuss all of that and more. We'll take a look at some other institutional ownership, but we'll look at this news specifically with BlackRock increasing their ownership in Tilray, TLRY stock. And then at the end, we'll take a look at the price chart as well. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on what to expect in terms of the price and the technicals in the days, weeks, months ahead. But as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. And you should never buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or write. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And full disclosure, I do own Tilray. It's my largest MJ portfolio holding. If we take a look at here as well on X, you can follow us there. Handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So I posted a couple months ago that Goldman Sachs Vanguard ownership increases as institutions load up near $1 on Tilray. It's since dropped over 50% from that point. So it's not surprising to see Goldman Sachs loading up on one of the biggest names in MJ, right? Unless you think MJ is going to cease to exist, I can't see Tilray going anywhere. They're an absolute behemoth in the space in over 20 plus countries. These institutions aren't loading up because they think it's going to go bust, right? They think that there's something here, right? And BlackRock, again, it's just a very, very small amount. Like if we look at the amount of shares they have, it's just under 3 million shares, valued at just under 1.8 million USD. But look at their assets under management, 11.6 trillion in the fourth quarter with a T, trillion with a T. So it's literally just a drop in the bucket, but we'll take it. It's not something to call home about, but it's a vote of confidence whenever you're at all-time lows and 52-week lows pretty much across the sector that you're seeing institutions load up. And that's why it's called the smart money, right? While most retail investors are panicking, selling the bottom and buying the top, these institutions are in the background. And I've said for a while now, nothing happens in the world without JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, your BlackRocks of the world. Like BlackRock essentially runs the world. If you just Google it, who runs the world, and I guarantee you it'll come up BlackRock, right? They're in every facet of the economy. And if we go down here to the institutional ownership, you can just sort by shares here on Fintel, and you can see you got Citadel, Morgan Stanley, Vanguard, right? So BlackRock's not even top of the list. It's like a dozen down. But yeah, you're going to continue to see this increase. And again, it's not because they want to piss that money away, then they think it's going to go bust. It's because they think that there's some value here. And I would bet that they're going to be increasing their ownership as well as we start to form a long-term bottom here and end this brutal multi-year bear market ahead of a huge multi-year bull market. And you have to remember, we have a lot of reform on the horizon for the MJ industry, right? Safer banking, I think that's more than likely going to happen first. Again, my reasoning behind that is so that, Morgan Stanley, the BlackRocks, the JP Morgans, all of these institutions can get positioned first, right? All these LPs are already trading on U.S. major exchanges. The MSOs are going to uplist, and then after that, once they get all the Wall Street banks and institutions positioned, right, then they'll unleash the shackles, and we'll see meaningful reform and descheduling in the U.S., right? But not before they get positioned. And I'm very, very confident in that playing out. That's usually how it works with every sector. And here's the exact article from Fintel. So BlackRock Inc. reports 7.71% increase in ownership of TLRY, Tilray brand. So on May 2nd, 2025, they filed a 13F-HR form disclosing ownership of 2.734 million shares, valued at about 1.797 million USD as of March 31st, 2025. So again, if you want to go and check out the full institutional ownership, it's all there. But again, why are they investing? Probably because they know that Tilray's, probably top 3 in the space in terms of, market cap, and they operate in like 20 plus countries, right? This is Tilray, Afria, Hexo, and Redican. If you haven't seen my video, Who is Tilray Brands and Why Do I Own TLRY Stock? Check that video out. I posted it a few months ago. It's got over 4,000 views. And if you ever want to share it with a friend or family member, or if somebody asks you why you own it, you can feel free to share that as well if you kind of share similar reasons to mine. But at the end of the day, this is an absolute gigantic company. This is not just a small company, and I believe that Tilray is going to completely disrupt the world. Like it's also into beer and beverage, it's into alcohol, right? But non-alc and energy drinks and all these other healthy or alternative methods of consumption, and then they're going to be able to integrate all of the MJ infused into those, right, once federally permissible. So they literally have the infrastructure built. And as he said in the interview, Irwin Simon, CEO of Tilray, interviewed him a couple weeks ago. You can check that out if you haven't already. I assume most people have. He said it within 60 to 90 days, we could be in the U.S. If we were able to do beverages, MJ infused beverages in the U.S., they could do it within a few months, right? And then they said if medical were to be legal, if they could enter the U.S. and sell medical, they'd be ready for that in 60 to 90 days. So literally, within a couple of months, 2 to 3 months, this company could transform and completely change the numbers that we're seeing right now. And they only have like net debt of about 14 million. So they're paying down debt like crazy. Yes, there's been dilution and whatnot, but pretty much every major name in the space has been diluting, especially the Canadian LPs. And this is a stock that I think is very, very attractive. And again, this is Tilray, Aphria, Hexo, and Redecan. If you would have told me or anybody else 4 or 5 years ago that this company would be operating as those 4 companies all under one roof, I would have told you were crazy. And people just lose sight of that because of the share price obviously being at 40 cents. It's very disheartening, and then a reverse split potentially coming up. So there's a lot of reasons to be down in the dumps. But at the end of the day, the sector's not going anywhere. I don't believe Tilray's going anywhere. I think Tilray's here to stay. But again, don't buy or sell anything based on anything that I say, right? I've got my exposure to Tilray. It's my largest holding. I put my money where my mouth is. But I've also been saying for many years now that I have way more crypto dollar-wise than I do MJ. Is that because I have more conviction in crypto? No. It's because I believe that there's a bigger opportunity from a total addressable market and market cap, percentage gain, though, we're going to see somewhere around the same, right? Coming off of the lows to new potential all-time highs on some of these MJ names compared to crypto. But crypto's been in a almost 5-year bull market, and MJ's been in a 5-year bear market. So you gotta call a spade, right? As much as I want, Tilray and the MJ sector to go to all-time highs yesterday, I can't. We got to be realistic, right? So speaking of price and the chart, I've got it up here on the screen, so it's not looking too hot. We did have the 42-cent area. We are hourly oversold at the moment, but we could potentially cool off the RSI here if we bounce on the hourly into tomorrow, which I think very well could be the case. Anything under 46 cents is a potential hourly bear flag. So we want to get over 46 cents to negate it. But if we bounce on the hourly here into tomorrow, which again, we haven't bounced on the hourly now in really about 14 hourly candles. So I would assume it would more than likely happen in the next day or two. It could even happen it's actually happening here after hours. So yeah, there's a very good chance that continues into tomorrow. We could potentially bounce up to around, like I said, that 46 cent area. But anything 46 cent and below is a potential hourly bear flag. And then key support is going to be the low there at 43.7 cents. If we lose that confirms the hourly bear flag. Then you just take your measured move there from the high to the low, move it out to your 0.32 fib, and it gives you a measured move of about 40 cents. So we very well could see, and we still have that previous bear flag target of 42 cents, which we came very close to hitting. We hit 43. So we could potentially see this hourly bear flag play out and come back down to around that 40 cent area. And that very well, no one has a crystal ball, but one has to wonder how much lower is it really going to go. And then if we get, the reverse split vote coming up next month, get that out of the way, right? There's the company's, really just starting in 2026, this company really could start to turn cash flow positive. We could start to see, positive EPS. We'll see lots of profitability metrics more than likely over 2026 and 2027, especially for the Canadian LPs that have been really struggling, but they've been turning a page. We know there's a lot of demand from the international market, specifically Germany. And there's sort of it's complete opposite now in Canada, where we're seeing a supply shortage versus oversupply, right? So, I don't want to say that 40 cents is going to be the bottom because, at 80 cents, it's hard to imagine we're going to drop much more than that, right? But as the saying goes, the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent, and just when you don't think it can go any lower, it can't go any lower. It can always go lower than that and even lower than that. But one has to wonder how much more blood are we really going to see before a big turnaround? And I think that we could very well see safer banking. Many Senate staffers are saying that it could happen before the end of the year, and I do believe that that is very, very probable. And some are putting the odds at about 90% that we get banking here before the end of 2025. And if that were to happen, that's what I've been saying for a while now, many, many months. We need something concrete, not just progress, not just promises and bills moving through Congress in the U.S. We need actual bills getting passed, signed into law, or rescheduling. If that were to happen and 280E goes away, that would be a monumental shift. But we either need rescheduling, just at least Schedule 3, so that 280E goes away, or safer banking. Without those two, obviously an attempted deschedule would be great too, but I don't think that is going to happen first. I think the most likely scenario, again, is safer banking gets passed first. And again, get the big banks and Wall Street institutions positioned first before they see meaningful reform in the U.S. And if you haven't already done so, you can check out pursuitofwealthgroup.com or powgroup.ca, and then just click on free trial here at the top or scroll down. Get the free trial here. It'll bring you to this page here. You can step inside the inner circle. You can come check us out for a full week. This is a limited time offer. And come check out our private group, and you'll get tons of perks. Daily live streams, real-time market updates, crypto, stock, real estate strategy breakdowns, private chat room, 24/7 chat, insight support. You can request charts, things like that. I do private live streams, interviews, product reviews, flexible subscription, so you can cancel at any time. But again, this is a 7-day free trial and no credit card required. You can come check us out. But going in it there, let me know what you think of this news in the comment section below. It's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll see you again on the next video.